I know, you're just here to kill some time.
Crimes they committed, even death was too great a mercy.
I don't want them dying for nothing.
There is a throne in this story that nobody is allowed to look at directly. Not the Marines, not the Yonko, not even the 5 elders who bow before it like it's a god. And sitting on that throne is a being who with a single word erased an entire island full of people off the map and off the history books. That's where we're starting today, because in a story with rubber men who turn into cartoon gods, swordsmen who cut through logic itself, and admirals who can melt an island just by getting angry, and figuring out who's actually strongest is one of the hardest arguments in anime, but we're doing it anyway. This is the definitive top 10 strongest characters in One Piece right now in the final saga. Some of these picks are going to surprise you, some of them are going to start fights in the comments. Good, let's get into it. Section intro 050 to 120. Before we start, quick ground rules. This isn't a who wins a straight up fist fight list, because half of these characters have never even been shown fighting each other directly. This is about combat ceiling, raw destructive potential, portrayal, feats, and the sheer weight the story puts behind a name. Political power counts, fear factor counts, and yeah, sometimes the story just tells you this person is terrifying without ever showing the fight, and that counts too. Let's climb the ladder, starting at the bottom of a list where the bottom still means these people could level a country. Number 10, tie. Old Monkey, D. Garp, and Prince Loki. We're kicking things off with a tie because honestly, trying to separate these two would be a disservice to both of them. Let's talk about Garp first. This is a man who is, by every account, past his prime, retired, old, and he still has a technique called Galaxy Impact, a punch so absurdly powerful it can level an entire town in one hit. Think about that phrase for a second, Galaxy Impact. This series doesn't hand out names like that casually. When Garp winds up that fist, you don't think, oh, the old guy's throwing a punch. You think someone's about to disappear. And standing right next to him on this list is Prince Loki of Elbaf, the giant realm's ultimate weapon. Elbaf isn't just big people who hit hard. It's a warrior culture built entirely around strength as identity, and Loki sits at the top of that entire society. His combination of raw giant power and political weight in the final saga makes him someone the story clearly wants us to take dead seriously. Two very different kinds of terrifying. Same number on the list.
Seems the Navy has made the king of the sea.
Number 9, Kuzan Aokiji. Here's a stat that should stop you in your tracks. Aokiji fought Akainu, the man who's about to be number 7 on this very list, to a 10-day standstill. 10 days of fighting, non-stop, on an island that still bears the scars of that battle to this day. Aokiji was trained personally by Garp, which tells you everything about his raw physical foundation before you even factor in the ice fruit. He's not just a devil fruit user who happens to hit hard. He's got the kind of monstrous base strength that Garp only hands down to people he thinks can survive it. And now, he's walking around as a Titanic captain under Blackbeard's flag, a former admiral defecting to the most dangerous crew in the world. That alone should make you nervous about what he's planning.
All right, everybody, stay back.
Number 8, the 5 elders in Figureland Garling. This entry might be the one that unsettles people the most, because it's not really about strength in the traditional sense. It's about the fact that these beings might not even be killable. The 5 elders, including Figureland Garling, function less like people and more like ancient executioners the world government keeps in reserve. Yokai-like transformations, telepathy, and the detail that should genuinely scare you. Near instantaneous regeneration from wounds that would end basically anyone else on this list permanently. Think about what that means narratively. Every other character here has a ceiling you can eventually imagine being reached. The Gorosei's ceiling might not exist. You can't out-damage something that heals faster than you can hit it. That's not strength, that's something closer to inevitability.
私の直属の部下とし
Number 7, Sakazuki, Akainu. I want to be honest with you about this entry, because it's hard to talk about without getting emotional. Akainu is directly responsible for 2 of the most devastating deaths in this entire series. He's the reason Ace is gone. He's the reason Whitebeard, the strongest man alive, finally fell. And he did it with a devil fruit that isn't flashy or clever. It's just pure, unfiltered lethality. Magma, the thing that ends everything it touches. That 10-day war against Aokiji on Punk Hazard. He didn't just survive it, he permanently reshaped the geography of an entire island in the process. Half frozen, half scorched, forever. That's not a fight, that's a natural disaster with a rank. As the current fleet admiral, Akainu isn't just personally terrifying, he's now the one holding the leash on the entire navy. That should worry you more than almost anything else on this list. Number 6. Monkey D. Dragon. This is the mystery box entry, and I love it for that exact reason. We genuinely do not know what Dragon's full combat ability looks like. We've seen hints. Storm winds bending to his presence, near supernatural control over weather in the moments we've glimpsed him. But the story has deliberately kept his true power locked away. Here's why that earns him a top 6 spot instead of costing him one. Dragon is Garp's son, Luffy's father, and he commands the only organized force on the planet waging total, unrelenting war against the world government itself. Not for treasure, not for a bounty, but as an ideology. When a story goes out of its way to keep someone's power a secret for this long, it's not because that person is weak, it's because the reveal is going to matter. Number 5. Dracule Mihawk. Mihawk doesn't lead an army, he doesn't command a Yonko crew, he doesn't sit on any throne, and he still has a $3.59 billion bounty, purely on the strength of one man, one blade, and a reputation that terrifies people who've never even met him. For years, Mihawk stood as a rival to Shanks, before Shanks lost his arm, which alone tells you what tier we're talking about. This is swordsmanship elevated into something closer to a natural law. Yoru, his black blade, isn't just sharp, it's a statement. There is nothing you can put in front of me that I cannot cut. Now leading the Cross Guild, Mihawk proves something important about this entire list. You don't need an empire behind you to be one of the most dangerous people alive. Sometimes it's just you and a sword and absolute mastery.
Extreme ignorance that inspires you to fight me.
Number 4. Marshall D. Teach Blackbeard. Let's talk about the single most dangerous ability combination in the entire series. Blackbeard is the only known person in history to wield 2 devil fruits at once, and it's not a random pairing. The dark fruit lets him nullify other devil fruit powers on contact, meaning half the abilities on this list simply don't work on him the way they're supposed to. And then, layered on top of that same body, the Tremor fruit, the same earthquake power that once belonged to Whitebeard himself. But here's what actually makes Blackbeard terrifying, and it's not the fruits, it's the mind behind them. Every major power grab Blackbeard has made in this story has been opportunistic, patient, and ruthless. He doesn't fight fair, he doesn't fight when he's not sure he'll win, he waits, and then he takes. That combination, near unmatched raw power plus zero hesitation, is exactly why every top tier fighter in this series should be looking over their shoulder. Number 3. Monkey D. Luffy. I know some of you are already typing, how is Luffy only number 3 in the comments? Stay with me. Gear 5 isn't just a power-up. It's the moment this story admitted that the strongest force in its universe was never really about muscle or devil fruit stats. It's the sun god Nika, awakened. It's Toon Physics freedom, reality bending around a man who simply refuses to stop smiling while he does it. Luffy has already defeated Kaido, the strongest creature alive, and has gone toe-to-toe with admirals and Gorosei members at the same time and walked away standing. So why number 3? Because Gear 5 has a cost, a stamina drain that even Luffy, for all his heart, can't outrun forever. Power that burns this bright doesn't burn forever. And this list is measuring ceiling, not just heart. Luffy's ceiling might be the highest of anyone still growing in this story, but right now, in this exact moment of the final saga, there are 2 people who've shown they can go longer, hit harder, or reach further without paying that same price. That doesn't make Luffy less special. If anything, it makes what he's already accomplished more insane. Everyone above him has decades of head start. Luffy's still catching up, and he's already this close.
Want your sword, you're just gonna have to join my crew.
Number 2. Red-haired Shanks. This is the entry that should genuinely scare you because Shanks doesn't even need a devil fruit to be this terrifying. Think about that for a second. In a world completely obsessed with devil fruit powers, where every major threat on this list has some kind of mystical ability behind their strength, Shanks stands there with nothing but haki, and it's enough. More than enough. He paralyzed Admiral Ryokugyu from miles away without lifting a finger in the traditional sense. He ended Eustace badass kid, a pirate with a 3 billion berry bounty, in a single, almost bored-looking blow. That's the part that gets me. Shanks doesn't look like he's trying. Every other name on this list, you can see the effort, the build-up, the power visibly gathering. Shanks just does it. Kamusari, Divine Departure. Whatever technique he's using, it doesn't matter, because the terrifying part isn't the technique, it's the certainty. This is a man who has never once looked unsure of the outcome.
You so much? Is that why?
Number 1, I am you, and at the very top, sitting on a throne most of this world doesn't even know exists, Imu. Here's what should genuinely unsettle you about this entry. Everyone else on this list, no matter how strong, exists within a system you can understand. Fights, bounties, rankings. Imu exists above that system. Erasing Lulusia wasn't a battle. It wasn't a struggle. It was a decision. A single command that wiped an entire island and everyone on it off the map and out of recorded history like they simply never existed. The 5 elders, who we already established might not even be killable. Or do you bow to this being? Command ancient weapons. Shapeshift into something the story hasn't even fully shown us yet. When a series builds an entire cast of terrifying world-ending characters and then reveals that every single one of them ultimately answers to someone else, that's not just the strongest character, that's the ceiling of the entire verse. Emu isn't strongest because we've seen incredible feats in a flashy fight. Emu is strongest because the story has made it clear. There is no fight, there's just Emu deciding whether you get to exist.
There are 2 things that I wish to tell you.
So that's the list, 10 names, and honestly, a handful of them could probably be swapped depending on what we learn in the chapters still coming. That's the beauty of the final saga right now. This ranking isn't finished, it's alive. I want to hear from you. Who's your number 1? Did Shanks deserve the top spot over Emu? Is Luffy actually higher than number 3 in your book? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and I will absolutely die on a hill defending at least 3 of these placements. If this video helped you win an argument with your friends, do me a favor and hit subscribe. Because trust me, when the next big reveal drops, this whole list is getting rebuilt from scratch. Until next time, see you on the Grand Line.